All right. What up, fam?
Legend, legendary Dres from Black Sheep. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. No doubt. Maintaining every day above, it's a good one.
Man, this is bigger than life. I really appreciate the opportunity to run some questions by you, man. I'm a big fan of your work. I grew up on this. And why don't you start off by introducing yourself to my listeners? A lot of my listeners are between the demographic of like 22 and 37, so they might not all the way be familiar with who you are. So give me a rundown and, go ahead, do your thing, G.
Yeah. I'm officially OG status at this point. I've been doing it since I was a young one, though. Which would be Dela, Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, Chili. Kind of got younger brothers by the name of like a Common or maybe Bush Babies to Black most. Like we're very much on an Afrocentric, positive, uplifting, but at the same time very street oriented. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They say it's that true school stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's kind of missing in the marketplace right now, unfortunately. I'm also a very close affiliate of Flavor Unit. That would be Queen Latifah's camp. You know what I'm saying? They were actually my management for a little bit. Chris Lighty, if you know who he is, was actually my first manager. We were the first group that he had breaking into the industry. And
okay.
DITC strong affiliate. Me and Showbiz used to share a house together in the Bronx. So like that's family. All of DITC is family to me, and so I kind of wear a few hats. You know what I'm saying? But keeping up with what Black Sheep's into,
Just a little bit. You broke up just a little bit. What year would you say that you broke into the business? Let's go from there.
Let me see. I got the first record I ever heard myself on, like, as far as like, major status or what have you, was on a Dela Soul record, Fanatic of the B Word, and that came out in 1990. And
okay.
The next year, released a single called Flavor of the Month, which was our debut single. And, it was met warmly, and we've been up and running ever since then.
Okay, was that the 3 Feet High and Rising album? Was you on that one?
No, it was the next album.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, might have been, pretty sure it's De La Soul is Dead.
De La Soul is Dead. Okay. How did you come up with the name Black Sheep?
Well, we were like in the native tongue camp, you know what I'm saying? And it was kind of like, like all of our music is kind of, you could tell we're all under the same umbrella, but you know the individual styles of each, you know what I'm saying? And just as to look at us on the surface, we didn't look like how they look, you know what I'm saying? Like the Jungle Brothers was very much like safari wear, you know what I'm saying? Camouflage, way ahead of cats, you know what I'm saying, as far as on that camo, you know what I'm saying? They've been about it. Tribe and were a little bit more Afrocentric, you know what I'm saying? And just my word, I probably looked exactly how I look right now back then. Right. So, so we kind of were like the black sheep of that crew to look at us, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And, and then even, I think, like lyrically, like we were willing to kind of say things that they really better and for worse. But sometimes, as an artist, certain people gonna walk their lane, and our lane was just a little bit more, maybe a little bit more brash. You know what I'm saying? But we all came from under the same umbrella. We all kind of represented the same movement, and and the same unity. We all represented the same love, you know. Word up.
A lot of the relationships that you named early on in the interview were from the Bronx, and because of that, a lot of people assumed you from the Bronx.
Yeah, yeah,
You from Queens.
yeah. No doubt. I'm from Astoria Projects, and I grew up in Astoria Projects and the Bland Projects in Flushing. And
Right.
as life would have it, you know what I'm saying? You know, like when you're a youngster, when you can finally afford to get your own place, like you really don't care where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like unless you're into something that's gonna be detrimental to you being somewhere else. You know, and I was kind of coming home from a situation. I was just kind of getting out of trouble. So me going to where I was from was me going back to trouble. So I kind of had to, you know, pull my pants up a little bit and, you know, venture out into the world on my own. So my very first apartment that I could afford on my own was on 187th of Valentine, you know what I'm saying, in the Bronx. And, you know, like, it didn't matter that, you know, I'm stepping over a crackhead, you know, going downstairs or that I didn't know anybody on the block. I'm going to meet everybody on the block. This is where I live now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was almost a family that moves into the projects. You know, like, it ain't even about where they coming from. They here now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you're going to get to know your new neighbors. So that was me in the Bronx. Like, you know, like I'm a Queens cat, but that was where I could afford my first apartment. And, you know, it was a beautiful, I loved living in the Bronx. But, you know what I'm saying? This is my word, like, funny thing, like just thinking about those days, like how real it was moving into the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, come from Queens and cats don't know you. And the place where I just said is a very much, is very representative of old New York. You know what I'm saying? Word up. Valentine, right off the concourse, you know, it's very representative of old New York right now. You know what I'm saying? Not even, let alone then. So I got into a few things, but one of the things, this is my word, that was a determining factor as to how I was gonna walk around there. This is my word. This is a funny story I never told nobody here. Right, and it's so significant to me too because it's now exactly where Big Pun Plaza is. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Exactly right there, right there in the corner of Fordham and the concourse, right there. I had just moved out there. You know what I'm saying? Just moved out there and. Like I said, I kind of got into a little troubles. So I did a short stint on Rikers, a short stint, a little halfway house. Boom, the first place I can afford. I'm in the Bronx. So I'm trying not to, you know, do too much. And I'm just kind of, you know, making my way around and walking around, taking in the new neighborhood. I'm right there, at what is now Big Pun Plaza. I love that. And these Puerto Rican cats run up on me, Spanish cats run up on me. And one of them is like, yo, is this him? So I already know the vibe. I'm like, yo, it ain't me. Whatever it is, it ain't me. Like, you know, like I'm just getting up here. It ain't me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so the dude is like, I think it's him. And so I'm like, oh my goodness. So I put my hand in my pocket. It's my word. And they looking at me, put my hand in my pocket. I'm like, yo, it ain't me. I don't know what's going on.
Your reception, man. You break up.
He's like, what you got in your pocket? I pull out the brass knuckle, like, yo, I'm saying whatever's gonna be, it's gonna be, but it ain't me though. And this is my word. The dude was like, you know, like, yeah, I don't think it's him. He wouldn't have done that. To say that, yeah, he would have had a pistol on him. Let's say the dude, yo, this is my word. Two of the kids flashed on me, and I'm standing there at Big Plum Plaza with some brass knuckles in my hand, looking at some cats with pistols, thanking God that this kid said, yes, I don't think that's him. You know what I'm saying? But from that day forward, you probably couldn't catch me without something that, you know, that would return fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's how serious. I was like, oh snap! This is like my second and third day there. I'm like,
right.
God, like, oh, all right, this is what it is. You know, like you kind of got to know the terrain and walk as the terrain dictates. And that's what that terrain dictated. You know what I'm saying? So that was Welcome to the Bronx, right there, Big Pump Plaza.
Tell me about, dispel this rumor. I believe it's a rumor, but it's been a part of hip hop a long time. You and Shi Ali. Are y'all? You know what I'm about to say, man.
like that one is kind of we family through osmosis at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've just bonded. We've bonded. So if, through sunlight, we've become one. Like me and Chi aren't related at all. You know what I'm saying? What happened with Chi? Like this is back when we were first getting with the native tongue. You know what I'm saying? And Chi had met Chris Lighty. She lived in Co-op, and Latifah lived in Co-op. Chris used to spend a lot of time up there, and so she used to spend a lot of time at Latifah's house. Chris Lighty would come through. She had wound up rocking, I think, the Apollo with them, just on some freestyle stuff, and he lit it up. So Chris was like, willing to do something with him. So we started bringing him to the studio. As soon as she, like, mind you, and this is a day when whoever session it was, it could be a Dela session, a Tribe session, Jungle session, eventually a Black Sheep session. We'd all be there. We'd all be, we'd all be hanging out. Like that was the hangout, Calliope Studio. Right. And so when Chris started coming through after Chi rocked the Apollo, he started bringing Chi, and everybody just started looking at me and Chi like we were supposed to be together. And Chi, mind you, but he was mad fly. Chi had an alphanumeric pager before all of us in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like right. Fly little cat. You know what I'm saying? Like had 1,000 pair of sneakers. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like cats kind of like Chris kind of just sat him with me, you know what I'm saying? And he was just cool enough, that I didn't mind, like, yo, all right, well, what we doing? And once it got to the point where I knew he was gonna be hanging with me, I felt it was important that like I meet his parents, and like there's an accountability level that that I felt I needed to acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna have him running out wild. Like mind you, it was bad enough I'm smoking way too much weed around him and stuff like that. But like at the same time, I also know my mentality. There's like there was a walk that I was introducing him to, and introducing him to a few cats that I grew up with and things of that nature. We became fast friends, and from fast friends to family. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been like that from day one. I've been around his family to extensive degrees. He's been around my family to extensive degrees. It's now at the point where our family and friends are in a mix. You know what I'm saying? Like I might call my man, and my man is like, yeah, I'm here with Chi. Like he just got down here. Like whatever. Like we're that close. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's family at this point. That's his brothers are my brothers, and and everyone that I love loves Chi. Word up.
I can't remember the exact timeline on. I was a big Chi Ali fan when Age is Just a Number when that was out, but I can't recall exactly when I seen you guys all together. But I immediately felt that I think it was just everywhere that was your little brother and shit. y'all kind of looked alike. Y'all did look alike, and yeah.
There's a definite likeness. Like even looking at his parents, like they look like like they could have birthed me. You know what I'm saying? Like love them to death. Like I done vacationed with them. From like out in the Hamptons and all the above, man, different states. Right. And she's been, this is my word. Like that's just my heart. That's my little bro. Period. Period. All right.
Give me it's according to my research, Black Sheep was the first hip hop group to rock Jay Leno.
Yes. Yeah.
What year?
Shoot. That might have been like 92, 93. Whenever Jay Leno hit the air, whatever year that was that he hit the air, that was probably what, 92 maybe? 90, probably 90, yeah. Like 92. Yeah, like we were the first hip hop cats to rock, the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and we were a group that was, in my opinion, at this point now, when you step back and you can kind of look at it, I think we were a group that was like a bridge for a lot of for a true form of hip hop, for a positive form of hip hop to be introduced to Middle America's homes. You know what I'm saying? Like we rocked Arsenio numerous times, in Living Color, Jay Leno. Like we were a group that was, like we were solid enough as far as purists, what I'm saying, for a hip hop head, but at the same time we were someone that was able to kind of walk a fine line, and get into a home in Nebraska via television. You know what I'm saying? It was at a time when, like it was almost like you had to be an ambassador of hip hop. You kind of couldn't just necessarily spaz out on some hip hop shit. You kind of had to, you know, you just had to have a little walk to you. You know what I'm saying? But that's in life most times anyway. You got to have a little walk to you. You know?
Right. What happened to the dancers from Flavor of the Month? How were they selected? They was killing that shit.
Yo, let me hit you with some real you might not know. If you look at the dancers in Flavor of the Month, one of them is actually the executive producer for all of the Love and Hip Hop shows. What's her face? What's the sister's name that executive produces the Love and Hip Hop stuff?
You want to put her out there? We need it. We need it.
What's her name? Like, you know her name. It's just escaping me. Like, this is what happens when you've been doing this for 30 years.
Right.
Chris Lady's partner at Violator.
Okay.
My goodness.
Mona Scott?
Mona Scott is one of the dancers in Flavor of the Month video.
Word?
If you pull them up, she's the thickest one in the video. Word up. And
no doubt.
And big shout to Mona, like to say that this is how she got into it. Mona was cool. Mona was very cool with Chris Lighty, who was our first manager. Now, you know, when we come out with our first single, they wanted some choreography in the video, this, that, and the other. And mind you, you know, like, I'm not big on the choreography side, but at the same time, this is a new experience for me. And, you know, like everything that, and we're probably one of the last groups to get artist development. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, literally got artist development coming out. And one of the things that they did was they put me and Long like in like this like an aerobics, dance, whatever class. This is my word. Like Brooke Shields will come into class sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was literally that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Midtown Manhattan and we taking this class. And from there, like, you know, like they literally was like, you know, like, well, we want choreography in the first single, this, that, and the other, you know, to pick some dances, this, that, and the other. So I meet a good friend of Mona's who's Chris Lighty's, you know, people. And she does choreography. And, you know, we handpick a few girls, this, that, and the other, to do the choreography. She teaches them, and, you know, me and Long, well, not even Long, like, Long didn't even want to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm the front man, so I got to do it. So it's like, you know, I learned a few of the steps to introduce them dancing, and then I'm kind of on my own, which is cool. I didn't do too much of it, but just to say, you know, like all of this was vision, you know what I'm saying, vision. And the day of the video, one of the dancers couldn't make it. This is my word. Mona Scott, strapped up, knew the moves because she had been coming to the class with Chris, looking at us and, you know, just peeping the whole game. Like Mona was dope. Mona was dope. And literally, you know, threw her hair up and whatever she did, and Mona rocked out in the video. Just, you know, knew the steps, didn't miss one, and is, you know, that's there forever. Like, you know, like she did that. Like, you know, she really did that. And the big salute to Mona. Like she and, you know, she stepped off of that, you know, and rocked out with Chris. She was a partner with Chris for many years, you know, at Violator. And you know, he taught her, I'm sure, a billion things, because at the time when all of this was taking place, she was more within, you know, like within circles, she was more known for being Hot Dog's girl. Hot Dog was Chubb Rock's dancer, who was also a friend of Chris Lighty. And that was his girl. Mona was his girl. Like, you knew Mona for being Hot Dog's girl before you knew her for dancing in the video or for being an executive back then. I didn't even know she had aspirations like that, you know what I'm saying, as far as on the executive side. So for her to take the opportunity that Chris, you know, bestowed on her and, you know, implement it all the way to the degree that, you know, we watch television today, and, you know, it's a little bit poisonous, if I'm being 100% honest. It's not really something that I would do myself. Like, I've been asked to do probably about 5-6 reality TV shows. I've turned them all down to say that it's not something I personally would do. And I almost look at it a little bit as it has properties of being unhealthy. but at the same time, you know, in the culture when things are, you know, front and center and on of that magnitude, it's up to us to define what it is more so than for them to not make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we got to define what we feed ourselves and what we feed our children. You know, like we can't get mad at somebody that makes a product that we don't partake upon.
Right.
Like if you make something and I don't eat it, I don't mind that you make it. You know, but if you make something and we're eating it, we're digesting it, you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking to the reality TV aspect, not just Mona's, but in general. Like, you know, like if we feeding ourselves this on a daily basis, you know, like it becomes unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? It's cool when it's entertainment and it's something that we laughed at, like the Cosby Show, or like, you know, or, you know, Mork from Mork or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's entertainment when it's something that we turn on and off. But when we start emulating it and start looking at these people, this is my word. I remember the first time I was on a red carpet with somebody from reality TV, and I'm like, wow, like I didn't even know it was gonna become, you know, this, like, you know, like it was like, you know, like one of the Stallionaires or something, you know what I'm saying, like from Flavor of Love. I'm like, you know, like word, like you know, like, you know what I'm saying?
They made it.
Right, and it's gotten to the degree where they're big stars, you know.
Yeah.
For literally what I still don't even know. Word. But, you know, it is what it is. Some, you know, like
That reality TV did create a lot of bullshit, especially under the name of hip hop. You'd be like, is this not a hip hop artist, man? Come on.
Yo, this is my word. Like, there's been no hip hop in any of them. With any of it. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
That's how they got in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how powerful the culture is. That's how powerful hip hop is. That, you know, by you know, by putting that in the title, you know what I'm saying, you got some shit greenlit. You know?
I could tell by your reaction to that incident with the brass knuckles and the pistols, you ain't had no problem being in the spot. So tell me what spots that y'all rocked out in. Like, was you performing in the Latin Quarter and shit like that?
Bro.
Come on, man. Give it up, man. Let's go.
There's not a microphone in New York that don't know me.
Right.
That's where.
So tell me what it was like. Who was you? All right, listen, right? Because this is where I'm going with it.
Castle.
You in the spot. You in the spot. You rocking in the Bronx and shit like that. So you in the spot with like AZ and all of them dudes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I know.
Alpo, Rich Porter.
Not Pullman. I know A. I know a few of my mob cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like Harlem, especially. I'm running through Harlem. Like that's all of that's. They all like that's cheese film. Like I'm mad cool. Like I don't know if you know like Jules, Boogaloo, Breeze. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my friend. Like that's where I come from.
Okay, because what's the name? She is close to Lou too.
Right. You know, like I come from Queens. I grew up with the cats like Lord C, Shajim, Shorty Black. Like I'm from Astoria Projects and the Bland Project. I come from a very, very dope crew. Very dope crew that cats have probably never heard of because they did it well. You know? And like I'm not, and even me shouting them is not me trying to put them on frustration.
Right.
Me saying, you know, this is where I come from. And we're at an age now where, you know, like I'm a cat that really didn't do a lot of speaking about my walk because my walk represented more. It was bigger than myself. I didn't talk a lot about what I've been through because what I've been through wasn't just involving me. It involved people that kind of was still, you know, doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of always kind of never felt like I had to hustle my vices, you know what I'm saying, which I felt like a lot of cats did. A lot of cats, like I remember when Biggie talked about the Peter Pan bus, you know, like I was disappointed that he did that because up until him rhyming about a Peter Pan bus, cats was
saying too much.
And I knew cats on the Peter Pan bus.
It's
about to be blazing on your bus. Like, might do something else. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but what was he saying real? Yeah. What was he saying dope? Yeah. But at the same time, you know, like it came at a course that wasn't necessarily his. You know what I'm saying? It was gonna cost the young cat that was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so I always understood that aspect of it, and tried to be mindful of it. You know what I'm saying? And don't get it twisted. Like we all do what we do, and we represent it how we represent it. And just because I do
Right.
it, mean that anybody else has to. It was just my work.
Right. You your career, these years that Black Sheep was in their height, it fits the Tupac timeline. Any Tupac encounters?
Yeah. I used to, me and Pac used to see each other, frequently. Like, what I'm saying? Like Pac was cool with Tretch, and me and Tretch were Naughty and Black Sheep. We were both on Flavor Unit. So like I'd see Naughty, a few times a week at least, and is I'd bump into Tupac too many times, too many times, and like sometimes we'd even bump heads. You know what I'm saying? Like I think like there was a walk that I think I didn't run with a lot of cats, but I ran with thorough cats. You know what I'm saying? And like the cats that Pac was running with that was holding him down, like those were friends of mine. I know E Majesty. You know what I'm saying? Stretch was my dude. Like I remember being in LA, hanging out with Stretch in a hotel in his room, and Pac is just sleep on the bed, and I'm literally there probably about till damn near 4 or 5 in the morning just talking. You know what I'm saying? But that's how close we'd be to each other sometimes without necessarily being affiliate. Like I didn't have his number. I wasn't I didn't rock with Pac like that, but I rocked with cats around him like that. E Money Bags was family. You know what I'm saying? God bless. Just Stretch as well.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to ask you about Bags once you mentioned Queens.
Like yo, Bags like me when when Black Sheep first broke up, and I decided to go to North Carolina, and I bought a crib down there. Who took the trip with me down to Carolina was me, my man Lord C, and E Money Bags. We drove down to Carolina, and I first I grabbed an apartment. We were staying there for a hot second, and everybody that kind of came down and to rock out with us, everybody had their own crib, literally paying a mortgage within 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Like all of us. You know what I'm saying? And like E Money Bags was like my man Lord's. Like my man Lord C was like E's OG. You know what I'm saying? Like he was my man's little man. You know what I'm saying? And he was thorough. I had to call E a couple of times. I remember one time he was kind of eyeballing, this cat in Queens that was real close to me, and it got around to that E was looking for his address. That I called E, was like, yo E, this my little man, like this is my little man, like you know what I'm saying, like don't do him like that, you know what I'm saying, like I don't know why you want his address, but I know it ain't the drop off. He started laughing. Like you got that. You know what I'm saying? But but he was family, and you had to respect what it was, but you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I grew up with some cats that respected my walk as well, whereas like it takes discipline to not get caught up in something sometimes, especially when you're real close to it. And that's what I used to try to explain to Chi. Like the cats I grew up with, they could make rap, they could dwarf rap money many a day. Like I'd have my moments where I might be up for a hot second, but if I blink, and turn around, they looking at me like a shorty, like like that ain't nothing, and that's where I came from, like literally, you know what I'm saying? And it takes a discipline to not to stay in your lane, you know what I'm saying? And I used to try to explain that to Chi. When Chi came home, one of the things that he told me was like, like I get it now, like I get it, I see what you were saying, you know what I'm saying? Like that's my family, and anything that they're doing, I feel like like I'm invited to, but as a man, you know what I'm saying, that's not what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It takes a discipline to to not get caught up in an invitation. You know what I'm saying? Like just because you can go over somebody's house doesn't mean that you're supposed to be over there all the time. Every once in a while, if you stop by, you know what I'm saying, you call, let them know you can clean up. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
stop by, you kick it with your family, and you go back home. You know what I'm saying? You go back to what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And as a man, I think my dudes always respected that about me. You know what I'm saying? You know, if I had a rough moment, I didn't even reach out to them. You know what I'm saying? Like I dealt with it, you know, how I was supposed to. You know, grind and you know, make something happen. And that's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is about for me. Like the week I finished high school, I left my mother's home. I've never been back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I've been on my own since then. And, you know, that's just what it is. You know?
You got these two, you got some legendary records. Over the years, we've heard them on commercials and shit like that. Did I hear Choice is Yours maybe in a Burger King commercial or something like that?
Yo, this is my word. I be getting surprised sometimes, like at the things that it might pop up in. Because to be honest with you, when we did a deal with a major label, you know, when you do a deal with a major label, you don't own the masters. In not owning the masters, one of the things that you forfeit is your ability to license. You know what I'm saying? So any licensing, you know, don't get it twisted. Someone can approach me about licensing, and I can put them onto the person that they're going to deal with in Universal. You know what I'm saying? But they own the masters, so you know it's been a curse and a blessing. Like, you know, like of course you want to own everything. You know what I'm saying? But when you find yourself in a partial publishing deal with a major label, you now have a building full of people that are promoting, that are pushing to license it, to put it in different places, because it's a money split. You know what I'm saying? So it might wind up being in the commercial, and I catch up to it, whereas I didn't know the deal was even there. Sometimes they'll send me the deal beforehand just as a courtesy, but when you own the masters, you don't have to. So, you know, so sometimes there's deals that'll come through. Like a good case in point is the Welcome to the Spider-Verse. I didn't know that deal was being done until the movie was out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
People had to put me on, you know, and that's the latest Marvel / Sony you know, movie. Tremendous movie, the first Spider-Man comic, you know what I'm saying, that's in the movies from the new, you know, series genre. And The Choice is Yours is in there predominantly. And you know, so I had to go back and find out the parameters of that deal. You know what I'm saying? That I didn't know what they negotiated. I had to find out. You know what I'm saying? And everything was cool. And one of the things that you know, but that's just the reality of not owning your masters. Now, 30 years this year is the anniversary of the first album. So I'm really glad to tell you that, you know, like within the next 5 years, I'll have my own masters back. You know, like everything's kind of run its course. You know what I'm saying? So I'm filling out the paperwork this year that in 5 years, everything reverts back to me, publishing wise and master wise. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and I'm even hearing that there might be legislation that passed that, you know, will enable it to be done earlier. But kind of going from the old guard. So I've done all of my time. Like I'm literally in a position to have everything back now. You know what I'm saying? Like logistically in the court of law. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so I'm go ahead and follow through with that. But one of the things I wanted to say is it's been a blessing and a curse to have this publishing deal. I did a 50% publishing deal. Me and Lauren did a 50% publishing deal with Universal. The paper we took for it was short in comparison to what eventually started happening with publishing. Publishing became multi-million dollars. When we did the deal, it was not the situation whatsoever. And we were in a place where hip-hop, when we first came out, you know, hip-hop was still trying to get over being a fad. People wasn't sure if 5 years from then it was still even going to be there. Though we knew, though everybody in the community knew. You know, everyone else was trying to act like, you know, like, well, we're not going to put big money into it because we don't even know what have you, whatever they wanted to say. But just to say, the case I'm trying to make is, by me doing this deal with Universal, this 50% publishing, now I've got a building full of cats, literally lawyers, the whole nine, that if I hear anybody play, you know, The Choice is Yours, do something with The Choice is Yours, and I know it's not licensed, and I reach out to the label, they don't know about it, I got a building full of lawyers that I could put on it. If somebody record, you know, using The Choice is Yours, I ain't got to call them or, you know, find out. I got a building full of lawyers that I could put on it, like, yo, you know, it's being used over here. Oh yeah, cat over here use it. You know, this. Oh yeah, get the gat. Yeah, you know, you know what? Yeah, talk to someone, you know, say like, from what's his name, Fat Man Scoop. You know, saying, yeah, okay, yeah, talk to Fat Man Scoop. He used Choices Yours, like, you know, like, and all of these records, literally, anytime you hear my voice, I'm getting paid for it. Anytime you hear the Choices Yours, but anytime you hear anything that is on those publishing universal situations, because it's business, personal, this and the other, is strictly business. Now, the point I'm trying to make is this: had I kept my publishing to myself, I probably wouldn't have had the resources to attack every situation. I probably wouldn't have had the resources to license it and all of these commercials and this, that, and the other. And, you know, and I wouldn't have, I probably wouldn't even been able to stand the tiers that you know, you can license something at this tier, you can license something at this tier, you can license something at this tier. The Choice is Yours is a top license. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, any company that wants to use it is going to pay well to use it. I probably couldn't have established that as a solo entity. So I find myself in a position, I've got 50% of everything that we've accumulated together, as opposed to 100% of what I would have done on my own. And I'm pretty positive that 50% of what we've accumulated together is much, much greater than what I would have had on 100%. So, you know, so that's the blessing. You know, like all of my paperwork is straight. Like literally, anytime you hear the Choice is Yours, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and I walk into each year, you know, knowing that it's been a blessing. It's something that, you know, I'll leave to my children, you know, and it'll affect their lives and so forth. You know, it's a blessing. Right.
After Black Sheep, you continue to do music as a solo artist.
Yeah.
You got a resume. 8MM album, Black Pool of Genius. Elaborate. You can interject at any time. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what happened was, you know, like Black Sheep, we kind of got a couple of things. I was actually one of the first artists to ever have an imprint called One Love. Like after the success of The Choice is Yours, I kind of parlayed that into a deal to get my own label. And and called One Love. I bought out Legion. I had a joint called Jingle Jangle, Legion Groove, you know what I'm saying? Some thorough hip hop. And the other one was a female group out of Oakland called Maj. There was some female singers that are dope. Like cats, their album unfortunately didn't even get the push that Legion got before everything kind of folded. What happened was that, and mind you, we're working on the second album at the same time. Now, what happened was this, that, you know, the whole staff at Mercury flipped. Because what happens when a staff has success with a record, it's almost like playing for the championship ball team. When you win a championship, now all the role players now can go to different teams and get top dollar. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same schematic.
Hold on. On a project, when a project is a smash hit, everybody that was a part of that, the legs, they become free agents.
Right.
And this is some stuff. And does that affect the outcome of the next project?
That's where I'm going.
All right, go ahead.
Very much did. So, you know, like everybody that understood our walk and worked with us the first project, they now making much better paper at different labels. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't mad at that. You know, like, yo, do it. But now it becomes an introduction to a whole new staff. Some of who don't even look like the cat that left. Some of the whole gamut of things going on. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, so you gotta kind of like, you know, you gotta navigate that. Number one. Number two, there was a situation with the president of Mercury at X time. Like me and Ed was cool. Like he's the cat that gave me this deal. Now, unbeknownst to me, and he would kind of, you know, say it later on in life, but he didn't say it then. You know, he came at me for publishing on the Legion and on Image. He wanted publishing on both groups. Now, he offered them the same deal that he offered us, a deal that I wasn't really fond of at that point in life. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he jerked us. I was like, you know, like, yo, you know, like for the paper you gave us, like y'all recouped the first year with our project. The first year our project came out, y'all made y'all money back. So y'all gonna be in my pocket for the next 30 years, and y'all recouped the first year. Like
yeah, damn.
You know what I'm saying? So him offering them that deal, I kept it a buck with them. I told them straight up, like, yo, this is the deal he's offering. This is how it affected me. This is, you know, what he's offering you. I'm not telling you what to do. I am telling you that I don't think I would have signed that deal today. But,
right.
you know, but at the same time, you know, it's at that point, it wasn't something that had been in my life for 30 years and holding me down when nobody even knew where I was. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't speak to what it would be. I could only speak to what it was at that moment. At that moment, I was like, yo, I don't think this is a solid deal. I think that your publishing is worth more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you don't do a publishing deal because there's benefits to doing it. And at the same time, you know, it's your decision. You know, you might not want to do a publishing deal at all, and that's your prerogative. You know, I'm just presenting the deal. So they wound up not taking the deal. Now, one of the things I didn't really understand is that the major label is looking at them having a publishing deal with you as the decision maker, whether or not they're going to promote you heavy or they're going to see if you can swim. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they're vested in you, it makes all of the sense for them to promote you heavy, because when that record gets played, they splitting paper with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Promote that. Now, but if you decide to step back and do it on your own, they going to step back and be like, okay, well, let's see what you can do. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what they did. So mind you, I'm with a new staff. This dude that's the president of the company, he's playing a little funny with me now. Later on in life, he would come back and say a couple of things I didn't appreciate. One of them was, yo, I could have done better by you, Dres. I could, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a young black, I'm a kid, literally, trying to make my way and just really trying to implement the ideas that I think I should be, just as a person that's trying to be a progressive entrepreneur in hip hop. You know, I'm trying to literally have my own little label. And mind you, this cat gave me maybe about $250,000 to bring out 3 groups. And I brought out 2, still have 1 more to bring out. But while I'm working on these projects, I find out that Clive Davis gave Puffy $9 million to start Bad Boy. So now I'm looking at edX, I'm like, nigga, you just gave me $300,000 to compete with a nigga that got $9 million? Like, I didn't even know that kind of paper was available. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? like you straight playing me, like, you know what I'm saying? So later on in life, he was like, you know, like, you're right, I could have done better by you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we were speaking to, because I'm like, yo, like, how am I supposed to compete with somebody that's got $9 million to throw at whatever they choose to, and I got $350,000 to bring out, or $250, whatever it was, to bring out 3 groups. You know what I'm saying? Like, only thing I could really do is give cats a basic advance and record their project. You know, the only thing I got out of that deal, I got a new engine in my car. That was what I got out of that deal, because I was banking on the back end. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. The Legion, you know, popped off a little something, and Image, they wound up going on to have, you know, they're doing their thing as individuals. So I get caught up in that, this dude X side, and another thing.
Breaking. You breaking up. Bear with me. I appreciate Dres. We got about a good 40 minutes information. I hope we can continue. He's buffering. Y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Y'all can catch this interview from the beginning. Shout out to Dres. I appreciate you. Yeah. Started the buffer. Anyway, I appreciate Dres from Black Sheep for stopping through. Shared a lot of information for you unsigned guys, so y'all don't get robbed. See if we can get him back in here.
All right.
All right. All right.
All right. So part two, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just to say that this cat tells me one day, now mind you, I'm down south at this point. I done bought a crib down south. I'm left, you know, but I'm still reaching back and forth a little bit, just trying to tie up a few loose ends, what have you. And he's like, you know, like, yo, like we never hung out, man. Like why wouldn't you hang out with me? Like you never, you know, like you never came to take me out and hang with you and this, that, and this is my word. Like I was looking at him like the big, you know, like you're the
like he's supposed to take you out.
Right. Like you signed the checks. Like I didn't even think you would hang, you know, I didn't even think to ask you to hang out with me. And this dude is literally telling me, you know, like one of the issues he had with me was that I never would hang out with him. And I'm like, wow, like word.
You had all the bitches.
Yo, this is my sometimes you could be too close to a situation, man. Sometimes you can be too close because you know, like I didn't even know that was in play. You know what I'm saying? Because if I knew that was in play, and that was a lesson for me, because something as simple as befriending him probably would have put put at least $1 million in my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I literally was so new to the room. I was so grateful to be in the room. I'd come do what I had to do, and I was out, man. Like I didn't want to step on nobody's toes. I didn't want nobody to think any. Like I didn't, and I wasn't a fan of what was going on in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I kind of just, you know, found my way, you know, out of the room a little something. And I was cool with that.
Taking the Willie burgers with you, man.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for real.
Wanted you to taking the Willie burgers, man. Dapper Dan's,
you know
man.
What I'm saying? Like
shit.
He was trying to kick it for real. Like, but that blew my mind for him to say that. But I didn't like that, though. I was like, wow, like, you know, like, wow, really? Like, really?
Petty. That's petty, actually.
Petty. Yeah, right. You know, so now combine all of this with Universal coming into the picture and literally buying all of the labels up. You know what I'm saying? Because this is when all of that is taking place. You know what I'm saying? You know, as our second album's coming out, Universal's buying Polygram, Mercury, you know, whatever. Oh, you know, like there's only like 4
So that's
major
what
labels.
happened to. So that's what happened to all those labels. They got swallowed.
Yeah, by Universal. Yep. So everything I said is going on as Universal is buying everything. And you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like the promotion on the side, on the spine of the Black Sheep second album, it says Balk Sheep, BALCK Sheep. And when I saw that, I was like, well, this shit is over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like that was just so like, oh wow, like, you know, like to me that was almost like them making a statement, like, yo, nah, we're not fucking with y'all this go round. And you know, and then like me and my little man, like we were having excuse me, little differences, nothing major, but just I think just differences as in the walk of men. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like he had a walk to him, I had a walk to me, and you know, before it became anything ridiculous, I felt like, you know, like I felt like everything was a signal, like for me to back up. You know, like I honestly felt like too much, you know, like it was so much happening so fast. And it was almost like when you're hustling and the block is hot and you're the only person on the corner and you got a ton of work on you. Yeah, you about to get it. But everything is happening so fast that's the time you get popped. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when you get knocked. When money's coming, you spinning off of this cat to this cat to this cat. And that was happening in my life. Like everything was just happening too fast. It was a lot of money right there. But at the same time, I felt like it wasn't safe. And, you know, I understood that I'm going to get this work off. I don't need to be the only person on the block right now. Right. And I stepped back, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, sometimes you got to have that in you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get it twisted. You know, like, yeah, everybody wants that story. Yo, I just killed, you know, I killed it last night and, you know, whatever, and whatever comes with that. But that's not always the story.
Right.
And, you know, and I understood that, you know, like I saw a lot of what was going on, you know, and hip hop is, you know, hip hop is blood sport, you know, to a degree, like, you know, like you're playing amongst men and amongst men child, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of kids that, you know, that are built like men And, you know, like, but don't always move like men. You know what I'm saying? So, you
Right.
know, you got to be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? And it got to the point where, like, I don't envy any of the top tier artists that, if you have security and shit like that, like, I don't envy you. I don't. I've had a taste of that. I would never want that for my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I like being able to, you know, go wherever I want to go, and, you know, like I can hang out in anybody's anything. You know what I'm saying? From top tier to projects. You know, like I get love there, and, you know, like, I don't have to bring a bunch of cats. Nobody's looking for me. I could scratch my ass in the supermarket and not be on TMZ. And, you know, I can have a conversation with my neighbors. And, you know, like, I don't have to be pretentious. And, you know, I don't have to look at everything for the backhandedness of it. And, you know, like, nah, everybody that's in my life is a real person. You know what I'm saying? I love that space. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, you know, and I, like I said, I've had a taste of all of that, and everybody wanting your attention for all of the wrong reasons, and you trying to differentiate this cat from that cat. It's a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that comes with it. I'm I feel like I'm one of the luckiest people in hip hop. Whereas, you know, like, this is 30 years this year, me making a living, and a better than decent one, making a better than decent living for just being me, man. Like literally,
Right.
you know, like, I travel around the world and do shows, and I literally get paid for my presence 30 years later.
So y'all still perform together?
Yeah, yo, this is my word. Yeah, I do tons. I perform all over, like, all over the world. Literally, I do European tours. I mean, I run around with Dela Soul to, on my own. You know, me and Long aren't together any longer. It's been me and my dude DJ Strike for a good probably dozen years at this point. But, you know, I have my own label. My label's called Pool of Genius. You can check me out at poolofgenius.com. I've dropped solo projects, and anybody that's a Black Sheep fan knows about them. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, it might not be, you know, this, you know, Billboard contingency, but it's enough people worldwide that, you know,
Right.
like that, you know, I do my thing, you know, and cats, I'm always just a record away from something extra. And, you know, I've licensed my own music that's on my own label in Disney movies. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, and, you know, and people might not even know it exists. But, you know, go to The Boy with the Golden Arm, you know, Disney movie. My record, Who That? That's on my independent label, is in the movie. You know what I'm saying? I negotiated the deal myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, so, you know, like, I've learned so many things in this. You know what I'm saying? As far as how to move, and it might not be something that's front page, but
Right.
you know, but it's something that's real and it's tangible, and you know, and it's done correctly. You know, like the, you know, my independent stuff, the publishing is right, and, you know, just like the stuff that it's on a major label. Like, I learned how to do everything on my own, so version of it.
Okay. Is so not to disrespect his contribution to the group and his legacy. Is Mr. Long? He's no longer a musician.
Um, Long, nah, I know he does some production. You know what I'm saying? Like we still, because we actually, whenever there's an opportunity for us to present a united front and get a check out of it, I reach out to him. You know what I'm saying? Right now, my dude Ian Alexander hit me today about a possibility of. So that we can, so that when we, you know, look at it, we're looking at it together. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like, he is due him publishing wise.
He's buffering. I'm Yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here.